If you are seeing this right now, it is absolutely not an accident. I pray over all of my videos, but today in specific, I made sure to say a few extra seconds longer to God that this video needs to specifically go to the people that it needs to go to. You're carrying a battle. That's why you clicked on this video. You are fighting something that is so beyond your own strength, you can't do it anymore. I know what this feels like. I'm currently going through probably one of the biggest trials I've ever had to deal with alone, since it's business related and work scandal, financial related, personal betrayal. And when I say like I have personally gone through, because there's been battles my family's had to go through. No, this is like the first, I think, in my life where it's been like my own serious battle. It dawned on me, oh my gosh, I've been trying to carry this entire battle alone. I haven't given this to God. I wasn't really talking to God because I literally like couldn't talk to anybody. All I would say was like, God. I'd be like, God. Like that's all I could say to him. Well, through some Bible readings and just finally getting to a point where I had no other place to go, I gave it to him. And let me just encourage you. Whatever you are going through, whatever battle you are facing, you need to give it to him. Okay, what does that look like? What does giving a battle to God look like? You need to verbally say things like, God, I surrender this to you. God, I give this to you. God, I cannot do this anymore. Admit that. It's your Father. Admit you can't carry this anymore. Watch the peace that transcends in your situation. Watch the peace that overcomes you when you fully surrender the outcome. Okay, a lot of your trials, maybe you're dealing with an illness in the family. Maybe you are dealing with a work scandal. Maybe you're dealing with a betrayal of a friend. Maybe you are dealing with, an addiction you can't come over. Whatever it is, you need to give it to God. And the way that I give it to God, because I know everybody says give it to God. Okay, what does that mean? I verbally say, God, this is your battle to fight. I'm currently reading in 1 Chronicles chapter 20, and it's very similar to my current situation. And there's just so much in there about having God fight your battles, so much of what he says. I really encourage you to read that if you haven't. But these fights that we face on our own on this earth were never intended to be ours. We were never supposed to carry the weight of it on our shoulders. When God can swoop in and take your situation, you never know what can happen. Personally, like I said, I'm dealing with people. So when I'm dealing with people, and if you're dealing with people, you have to remember that verse, who am I afraid of? Like, why would I be afraid of man when God is on my side, when God upholds the righteous, when God does not let the wicked succeed? Even if the wicked do get all the money in my situation, at the end of the day, I'm still winning because I did the right thing the entire time. I don't want to touch too much on my personal scandal because I want this to be broad to your situation. And I want you to know that with your faith, and Jesus says, first of all, Jesus says to us, Jesus said to his followers, his listeners, if your son if your son asks you for a loaf of bread, would you give him a stone? No. If your son asks for a fish, would you get a serpent? Absolutely not. Well, why then us who are evil would do good things for our children? How much more will our Father in heaven who is perfect do unto us when we ask him? You need to keep asking God. There's times in the Bible where you keep praying and then it gets answered. Okay, this is proven of how God works. You might not get the first answer or the first miracle on your first ask. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open. Knock continuously. It doesn't just say knock once. It says knock, seek, ask. That's something that God's been showing me, and I want to tell you too, is you need to keep asking and you need to have faith. With your faith, he can move mountains. And your faith can be small. There's no small coincidence that Jesus said, if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, say to this mountain, move from there to there, and it will. With your faith, I don't know how it is the way that it is, but this is how God created the world. God can move. I believe, and I've seen evidence, when I am clenching on to my current situation, my current trial or tribulation, and I'm trying to control it all. I have no faith. I'm not even asking God for help. nothing is moving. Nothing is working out because I'm trying to control it all on myself. When you give it to God, when you have faith, doors will open. The world will start shifting around to help the righteous in need. I'm not saying your prayer that you're specifically asking is going to get healed. God, or healed, okay, so maybe that was for somebody. Maybe the healing isn't in this will for the case of this life, but you have to trust. I don't know if that made any sense. You have to trust that, and this is where supernatural faith has to come in. No matter what happens, like, it's in God's will. Like, even if the worst case scenario happens, God is still good. And what I believe is going to turn your reality around and have God truly fighting all of the battles that he possibly can is to give him your faith. You need to believe in this trial, in this issue that you are dealing with, that he can handle it, because he's the God of the universe. And guess what? So also interesting. What am I saying? I'm not functioning properly right now. I totally just said entertaining. What's so interesting is the fact that when he is coordinating plans and making the life move in a certain way to accomplish my desire and my ask, he's also doing the same thing for billions of other people at the same time. And simultaneously, the world is shifting in ways that it somehow gives everybody what they want. Not everything that they want, but, he's answering prayers all at the same time while, interweaving lives to make the prayer answer. Like, it is so fascinating. But moral of this, give God your faith. Do you trust him? Because if you don't trust him, I don't know how you're going to win this trial. God is a good father, and I'm not saying that with your lack of faith he can't move, but with your faith, if Jesus says with this little bit of faith he can move the mountain, what can he do if you have the most faith? That's what I want to ask Jesus. What can you do if with the most faith? I mean, I can't comprehend it. I think he can work miracles. I think that when you're in that trial, he will be able to get through, but you need to hand this to God. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're going through. And I don't have all the prophetic words for every single one of you who are going to watch these videos. If you've stayed until this point, there's something in you that has realized that you have not given it to him. That you've been trying to carry this on your own. Life is hard, but you're not supposed to feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. You're not supposed to feel like you're carrying everything on you. When you give it to God, I'll tell you this because I just gave it to God a few days ago. You're still dealing with the trial, but you can actually breathe. It's like, oh, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to be led to what I need to say to work this thing out. But ultimately, God's the one in this, especially when you're dealing with people. We're all sinners and we're all imperfect, but when God is the mediator between you all, he will make things right. And he will not let the wicked get past without judgment. I promise you that right now. Not that we need them to, have this discipline, but God promises, he will uphold the righteous. You need to stand firm. You need to believe that God is good and that he will get you through this. Faith is everything in trials and tribulations. If you do not have your faith, you will suffer. I don't know how people go through this life without God, and that's why it's my mission to tell everybody and anybody that I can about Jesus and his saving, because this battle that I'm fighting alone, again, very similar to 1 Chronicles 20, when they're like, how am I feel so small? How am I going to deal with this great horde of people? No, Jesus says, don't actually go rejoice. Go thank me in every circumstance. Do not worry about anything. I mean, the answers are plain and simple, but they're not easy. And I want to encourage you to do it small, to start small, to start giving it to him small, to start thanking him for thank him for this trial. Thank him for this trial. Yep, I just said it. Thank him for this trial. Because out of it, what does Paul say? Suffering produces endurance. I don't know this verse, but I know that suffering is going to produce a lot of good. I'm going to put it right here. Suffering is not inherently bad. I said it. Start small, thank God, speak good out of your mouth, and see what the Lord can do.